Alrighty, folks, back here in the stew. I'm joined today by a few different guests. Obviously, my co-host here, Tommy, who is dealing with a little bit of a situation on his face/head right now. But this was a great episode. A little bit somber at times, breaking down the end of the Mallards 2024 season. Didn't go out the way they expected to, but nonetheless, it was a pretty epic series. What else? We got our comment of the week. We got the Commish coming on, talk about a little bit of World Series. I had my questions for Tommy, obviously, about the series. Fuzzy numbers again, and then big Waffle House update. We need your guys' input. You guys will understand at the end of this episode, but please stick around for the end. We've got some major updates with the Waffle House Challenge coming your guys' way. It's coming up soon, so please stick around. Give us your input. This is the Pipe It Up podcast. Cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. And the Eastern Eagles are going to the NLCS at the expense of my co-host here, Tommy Coughlin. We're joined here by Landon on the call, but I want to address what's happening over here for my audio listeners. Tommy has a brown paper bag on his head. Tommy, do you want to just explain yourself a little bit?
Yeah. First of all, I can't move too much, or you guys are going to be in an audio nightmare situation. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory, Jack. This is just not the way we drew it up this season. And I'm ashamed of it. And I can't even look at you as I speak. But it's a reality that I have to live with. And it was a month ago now, but I was driving over here today and I listened to sad music the whole way. I was just trying to re-embody the somber feeling that I had, and found this bag, and I felt that it was appropriate to keep my identity concealed out of sheer embarrassment. That is truly how I feel in my soul. So, Landon, thank you for joining us. We're going to have Jack take us the majority of the way through this interview here.
Yeah, you guys right now. What's happening is you're seeing Tommy on the bad side of seeing these videos come out a few weeks after they happen. When your team wins, it's really awesome to look back and be like, oh man, that was super fun. I remember that. And then when you have a series like this, 10 inning game one, as the bag's crinkling in the mic,
they're going to hear that.
The 10 inning game one, I texted Tommy after watching the game and said, just absolute heartbreak. So we'll get into it here, though. On a positive note, we are joined by Landon. Landon, thanks for joining us, man. Welcome back on the Pipe It Up podcast. I guess just to start, take us through what it's like to play in just that marathon of a game one. I mean, we haven't seen a game like that in a long time. You were able to obviously step up when your team needed it. Someone needed it. Everybody needed it in the 10th inning. But I guess describe to the fans really what it's like to be a part of a game like that. That's essentially 3 full MLW games.
It was an absolute grind and an absolute drag. Like, people don't understand going up, and it's different from baseball. Like, baseball, you play a 10-inning game. Like, high school is like 7 innings, so it's only a couple extra innings. In like a baseball game, you might hit like 4 times. So say if you strike out every at bat, it's only 4 strikeouts, which sucks. But wiffle ball, everyone's going up every inning and just repeatedly, literally striking out over and over and over again. So I probably struck out literally like 7 or 8 times that game. So just going up and just grinding out at bats and just trying to do something was just a drag for everybody there.
Yeah, how hard is it, Landon, to not let frustration get the best of you in a game like that where, I believe Kyle said on the call that the first ball you put in play was actually the home run, which we'll get to in a minute. But mentally, how tough is it to really stay in it in a 2-hour-plus game where you're just having zero success?
I mean, that's tough, and I think that's something that comes over time. Like my first year and even a little bit last year, like I would get flustered a lot easier than I do now, I'd say. It just comes with, I guess, just having confidence in yourself. Like when I'm in the box, I think, why not me? Like, this is my chance. I'm up. I have the opportunity right now to go do something. And it's just staying confident in myself at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it's a grind. I remember. I'll probably need someone to look this up for me, but I want to say 2017 Preds against the Cats, I believe. Did Zach Whalen play on the Wildcats? He did.
Oh,
didn't
I remember
he?
this game. This is a Colts Field marathon.
I hit a walk off in I think the 8th inning, and so I know what it's like to go through those long games, and it is brutal. But you were able to step up. It took you 10 innings, but you were able to do it. And right here, we're gonna plug our comment of the week coming from Sam. Only 3 things are certain in life: death, taxes, and Landon Yurgaites going off in the MLW postseason. You really have just done a phenomenal job in the postseason since you've been in the league. My question is, why do you think you've seen so much success in the postseason at the plate? Obviously, you were successful in the regular season, but it is a different thing to step up in the postseason when every pitch, every at-bat means that much more. So what's led you to be so successful in your postseason so far?
I like playing under the big moments, in moments when you can move on and just get one step closer to going to Dallas, Texas. I mean, that is just so crazy to me. And if you would have told me like 5 years ago that I would have the opportunity to play literally any sport, to go and have the chance to play at a professional field, I would have told myself just to make the most of it and do the best I can. And that's kind of like the mindset I bring into it. I'm like, just go out and do what I can, try and help these guys win. And then if we win, I mean, on to the next. Like, we know what it was like last year getting to the World Series, and we know we have the same pieces to do what it takes this year. So,
Do you think that mindset you kind of share with the rest of the Eagles squad as well? Like, what was Dallas's kind of dialogue in between innings while you guys were hitting, after he's out there pitching, 10 plus innings in a game where the offenses are both struggling? Just what was the general vibe in the clubhouse of the Eagles as the day progressed?
I mean, the vibe, it's always kind of stayed the same. Like, we were always just like a gritty team. We're like grinding out at bats. So it was just like, let's just focus one runner, one base runner at a time. And then when Dallas gave up that one run in the 10th, I think our vibes got down a little bit. And then once I hit that first home run, like, we're all just like back into it, all fired up. It's all just us cheering and grinding, honestly, for each other. Like, we all want to win so bad. So when you have a bunch of guys with that same winning mindset and getting back to the World Series, and hopefully not blowing a World Series like we did last year, but just keep going on at bats and just keep doing the best that you can just for the next guy up. Like, one person gets on, let's carry that into the next at bat.
Yeah, Jack, that had to have been one of the biggest vibe switch ups of all time, I think, in my days playing. Going from being so excited to take the lead in the, whatever it was, 10th inning, to then having it stripped away in the very first at bat of the next half inning. It was just like such a deflating feeling of, man, like, I thought we had this one. And the first at bat, Landon goes yard.
I was talking to the Commish off the record here before we started recording, but was just referencing back to the Cobras Cats series in Brooklyn and that incredible, I think it was maybe game 2, the comeback that the Cobras had. And I think that one has been the game of the year thus far. But just the magnitude of this postseason game, as I said before, the heartbreak and the anguish that you could just see in the Mallards players having fought that long. You felt like it was whatever team was going to get the first run, whether that was in the top or obviously the bottom of the frame, was going to win. Like, when you guys got that run, I definitely thought it was over. I thought Robles was going to be able to shut it down, and yet Landon, he proves us wrong. And so I think this game might have possibly overtaken for the game of the year. But I did want to ask Landon, for those, I guess, wiffle ball nerds out there. I was kind of as I was saying, I was talking to the Commish before we started recording, and when I was watching the video, the pitch to me that you hit off of Robles in that 10th inning, the first home run and your second home run looked like almost the exact same pitch in almost the exact same spot. Is that true, or am I making that up?
It was a little different. So that first pitch that I hit out, I know he was trying to go for a slide drop, Usually his slide drop will come in at his lowest arm angle, and that'll obviously kind of like dive away from you and drop down. But that one stayed really flat and really on plane. Like it did not have the movement that some of his previous ones, as you guys have seen like in the videos. Some of his previously ones just had a ton of movement on him. That one just stayed flat and stayed plain. And then that second one I hit out was on his little like rising slider that he kept getting us with. It's just a basic kind of average pitch, but he mixes it in with that gross two seam and that gross slide drop that he has, that it just fools hitters so much because it's such a similar arm slot. But that was kind of like that sliding little riser that he was throwing.
Okay.
That second one.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense that the first pitch, it probably didn't. Obviously, the outcome wasn't what he wanted, but it didn't have the movement that he was going for on it. Just when I watched it initially, I was like, man, I don't think Robles would throw him the same pitch again. But it looked like it was ended up at least in a really similar spot. But go ahead, Tom.
I wanted to ask Landon, am I correct to assume, did you and the Eagles team bring in a lot of confidence from an offensive perspective into this series, just given your success in the past against Robles?
For sure. Usually against everyone we play, I can say like we come to the field with the expectation that we're going to win at least 2 out of 3, just with who we got on our roster and what we know we can do. So we always come with confidence. And then the first time we played you guys, we really had our way for those first 2 games before we lost that final game. But we've seen Jordan for, what is this, my 3rd year now, I think, between regular season and then we faced you guys in the playoffs these past 2 seasons. So I think just seeing the same guy over and over again and kind of knowing what he's going to do, his antics, what he's going to throw, I think that helps us a little bit. But with that kind of new rising slider that he hasn't really thrown or that we haven't really seen at all, because it's always just been that 2 seam, that definitely threw us off a little bit for sure.
Jack, I hope that wasn't some foreshadowing of what's to come this Friday, Jack.
I hope PB's got his editing skills. That's great podcasting to just choke on your water and cough while the person you're interviewing is giving their answer. That's great.
Well, PB could cut it out and they would never know, but that's his call. Yeah. Well,
sorry, I kind of missed the answer to the question. To be honest, I was joking.
Jack almost died.
Yeah, my bad.
He said that the Eagles bring a lot of confidence, Jack, and they think they can beat anybody 2 out of 3.
Oh, as they should. I would say, or my bonus question here, we got a few more, but one that wasn't on the list here. If you guys are able to make it to Dallas, who would be the team on the AL that you feel most confident against? I guess you're obviously going to feel like you have a good chance to beat any of them in a 5-game series, but what's one team you think you have the best chance against?
At this point in time, I kind of view you guys, the Preds and the Cobras, like you guys are all very different types of teams, but you guys are all very good teams in your own way. So like you guys thrive off Grant's bat and then RJ's pitching, and then you guys round it out with solid hitters that are just like on base kind of glue guys. And then I look at the Cobras, they might not have the flashy like pitching that RJ and Ryan do, but they're hitting consistently top to bottom. I think might be the best on the AL side in terms of I mean, you go from Drew and then you go to Andy and then you round it out with Esh has put together a pretty good season. So I round it. And then obviously the Preds, it's kind of like it seems like all Ryan this, all Ryan that, but I mean they have solid bats too. Like Warda has had a solid season, and then Levi played really well against us too. In the regular season. So I kind of view it like you guys are all very similar yet very different in your own ways, like similar skill set yet different between how you guys each play. So I think all very similar, to be honest.
That was an A+ coached answer
media training.
Right there. That was an A+ media training.
MLW media training did this kid well.
Full pass there.
Yeah. I like it. Why would he give an edge to anybody, Jack? Why would he?
He wouldn't. I didn't expect anything less.
No, I agree. Landon, I also wanted to comment for the fans who are watching. We did not see Blade Walker in this series. He was actually not at the Meadows. Now, when you guys matched up against the Mallards previously in the postseason, you actually lost game 1, then put Blade out there in an elimination game, which he then won. And, of course, then Dallas came back in game 3 to send you guys to the World Series last year. Had Blade been there, would we have seen him in game 2, you think? Or would you have stuck with Dallas? What do you think manager Dan would have done?
Well, it's easy to say right now that we won the game 2. Yeah, just throw Dallas out there, we would have won. But that definitely would not have been as easy of a decision to make if Blade was there. The only reason I think that we could have stuck with Dallas is because we haven't seen much of Blade at all this season. I mean, he only made it to you guys in the regular season, and he made it to Magic too. So both your guys' teams were the only 2 series that he's played in. So honestly, it wouldn't have surprised me if we kept Dallas on there, but it could have been smart to go Blade too, because you guys obviously just saw Dallas for 10 innings. So it's like, why not switch it up and try something else, maybe similar to what you guys did with Preston?
Yeah, that worked great for us.
Oh, come on, Tom. Well, we've moved on now past the Mallards. Tom, I got some questions for you that we'll get to in a second. But
lovely.
Landon, just looking ahead here, how do you think you guys stack up against the D-backs? What do you see from that team? I guess, how do you see that series playing out?
Here comes another media trained answer.
Yeah, let's see how he does in this one.
Well, so they got us in the regular season. That's not a surprise. We had that first game against them and we scored, I think, 8 or 9 runs, if I'm not wrong. Like, we just had like 3 home runs that first game off Jimmy. He was a little bit wild. We just got him at the right time, honestly. And then they put Trey in, and he just killed us. He threw, like, I don't even know if he gave up a run in both the second and third game that he's pitched. So we know if they're both on, that 1-2 punch is just deadly on the mound. Like, they're both 2 all-star pitchers, 2 of some of the best pitchers in the league in my eyes. But we kind of think we're some of the best hitters in the league, and then Dallas has been lights out on the mound too. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. Yeah.
Great answer. Great answer. Right. Tommy?
That's all from my chair, Landon. Congratulations to you. Good luck to you and the Eagles the rest of the way. Unfortunate that you guys had some fun out there at my own expense, but I feel like Jerry Jones did yesterday, I think, out at AT&T Stadium. So good luck the rest of the way. Jack, anything else from you?
Appreciate you coming on, Landon. Always a pleasure. Good luck against the D-backs. I'm rooting for you guys. You guys are my pick from the NL to get to the World Series. So I think I have you guys actually winning the World Series. So best of luck to you, and thanks again.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Landon. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Talk to you later. See ya.
Landon, you're good to... Okay, he left. Oh, it's that kind of day for me, Jack.
I have the the Zoom on my camera, or on my computer right now, but it's just like the small minimized window in the top right corner, and I had it pinned on Landon so I could see him, and then as soon as Landon left, just a paper bag face popped up in the right-hand corner. It was a very funny look, but Tommy.
Yeah, I probably should get rid of the bag.
Let's get rid of the bag here, and let's get down to brass tacks.
Face, Jack. There's a lot of shame in this face. That kind of hurt my nose.
Oh, you were sweaty under the bag.
Yeah, it was really hot in there.
Yeah,
it was so hot, I couldn't breathe. Hang on, I gotta cover up this bag hair. Go.
Raw and
we'll
uncut.
Go forwards. I don't want them to see my eyes too much.
Yeah.
Is my hat on straight? This is what we usually do before the cameras are on. Is it straight?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Mine's probably crooked. Fans will tell me.
Here's money.
Oh, cool.
Money today.
All right, cool. We'll take it.
All right, Jack. Let's.
Tommy.
I guess let's do this thing.
Let's talk here.
Go ahead. Let's talk. I'll get comfortable, I guess.
Let's
for this
talk.
Part. I left my shoes on today. Even I'm on a lot of sorts.
I want to know first and foremost, what was your message to the team before this series? Did you guys have a team Zoom before?
We did.
What was the theme of that team meeting?
The theme was, I think, if I were to think back, it was trying to alleviate the feeling of pressure that I think, whether it was due to something I did or not, just the feeling that we brought to the Meadows with us in the past, in the postseason, with this group here. Mm-hmm. It was also, those were CS series, so World Series is on the line, not just another postseason series. But the yeah, I definitely tried to like emphasize the fact that we're underdogs. We haven't had our best year so far, but like it's all right in front of us. Like we're in the meaningful games now. You win these series, and it's the show's on.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely tried to lean into that a little bit in terms of trying to mold the minds of our guys to really try to get them to play, smart but loose wiffle ball, focused yet like not like the weight of the world is on our shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of the theme there in terms of the mindset. Additionally, we definitely talked about the strategy of the lineup, the pitching situation, the bullpen. All that was discussed as well. And I guess maybe you're going to ask this later, but I pretty much said, and everyone's kind of agreed upon. I will say it wasn't really up for debate. If they would have pushed back super hard, maybe I would have reconsidered. But I feel like in the past, I've let the other players' emotions sort of dictate how I manage the postseason lineups and arms and stuff. Whereas in this case, I really wanted to stick to my guns and go with the number 2 arm in game 2 to give him a different look. So I pretty much said, unless it's 9 up, 9 down in game 1, with Robles throwing 9 strikeouts, we're going to go to Preston. So yeah.
But he did end up throwing like 26.
He did.
Or
but
something,
they saw
right?
him for 10 innings.
I know, I'm just kidding.
They saw him for 10 innings. Was my philosophy.
That wasn't in the conversation.
No,
on
it was
Zoom
not.
meeting. What if he just goes 10 innings? So what I guess transitioning then, sort of 2-part question. He is out there, and so is Dallas, just dealing right through 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
What's the dialogue there? Is there any dialogue? Is he just like totally locked in? Are you talking to him at all throughout those 9 innings?
I was in his ear often. Every other pitch pretty much, telling him counts, situations, batters, giving him mental reminders about certain hitters' tendencies and what I think works against certain hitters. So we were in great spirits, I think, during those the majority of game 1. Actually,
Yeah.
and he did a fantastic job. I thought Robles did a great job. In contrast to years prior, after we took the lead early in inning number 2, and then Dan tied it up, I think Robles stayed so dialed, which I think was an improvement. I didn't see his demeanor falter whatsoever, which was awesome. It was really encouraging to me out in right field.
Yeah.
I think it helped our whole team, actually.
So what was the message? I guess, how did the message change, if at all, after you guys are in the 9th inning now, or 10th inning, right? Where it's like, you guys have played 3 full games here. This game's still not decided. And it's frustrating. Just like we talked about with Landon, it's like, it's so demoralizing just going up there and just like strike. It's like it's the opposite of like a pitcher going up there and just not being able to find the zone. And they're just like, walk. This is like the hitter's equivalent, where the games just go on for so long because you're just going up there and just striking out like out after out after out. So how did that message change in terms of like playing loose, or maybe it didn't change at all, I guess?
I mean, I was definitely trying to encourage people to like not get down. You can't get frustrated in a series like this. Like, this is one of those ones where it's going to come down to probably one big swing of the bat.
Yeah.
So I was trying to encourage people to just stick to your approach. We talked about the importance of going up there with a mindset, not just going up there and kind of swinging aimlessly at pitches you think are going to be strikes. Really have an approach and dictate the at bat. Like, don't let Dallas just play his game out there. You go up there with your approach and what you want to do and attack. Get pitches you want to hit and attack. We're not going to beat this guy on walks.
Yeah.
So even though our bats haven't been that great all year long, we saw flashes of it against the Cobras. And, we actually out-hit the Eagles in the first game. It doesn't say much, but I didn't want the strikeouts to discourage anybody from like straying away from the game plan we had already set in that, not only all year, but also in that pre-series meeting.
So I know it's difficult, but as best as you can do, as unbiasedly as you can do, would you put that game as the game of the year? Because I'm comparing it to obviously other MLW games this year, but also just watching like the MLB postseason going on, like watching to me, like sort of the fair weather baseball fan, I guess I would say, like watching a regular season baseball game where there's like not a lot of home runs is sort of boring. But in the postseason, when pitchers are just dealing and guys are like getting crossed up, like and you can just tell there's so much on the line with every pitch. Like it's way more engaging to me and interesting. And so like seeing Dallas and Robles just gut this out and fight like back and forth, and then again, like I know it's heartbreak, but just the way that you guys went up and the Eagles answered was unbelievable. So what do you think? Does it beat the game in Brooklyn as the game of the year? I know it stings.
To me, it does, because I'm with you in the fact that, you know, I've played baseball my whole life, and I would consider myself a little bit more than a fair weathered fan. So, like, I know how much of a chess match each and every at bat is over the course of an 162 game baseball season, or a 15 game wiffle ball season, and then you're looking at those at bats under a magnifying glass in the postseason. And people are in our comment section sometimes like, oh, like the MLW postseason comes down to a 3-game series. Like, we have a 15-game season, then 3-game series. MLB does 162 games, and then it's a 3-game series for the wild cards. So, like, that's just kind of the reality of the game, and it's who can execute in those big moments. So, yeah, I think just the amount of base runners that got left on by both us and their squad too. You know, Robles worked out of a couple bases loaded jams where, like, you know, they had Daniel or Dallas up in clutch situations. He gets strikeouts. I mean, it was exciting to be a part of, for sure. You know when you're a part of a classic game, you know, an instant classic, and it's a cool feeling for sure. Definitely
an instant classic. So you mentioned that your plan was to, you know, 99% probability probably that you were going to go with Colm in game 2. When that game 1 finishes and finishes in the way that it did, was there any questioning there, I guess, from you or from other guys on the team? Like, just with, because Robles, obviously, he lost the game, but it was phenomenal what he was doing out there still. Was there second guessing? Like, what was the thought process going into that decision for game 2?
Yeah, I actually think, again, that I had the support of my teammates behind me and putting out Preston. Unfortunately, he didn't have his best stuff, of course, which I'm sure we can get to too. But yeah, I mean, they were definitely starting to see Robles, or at least Landon was starting to hit the ball hard, and he just given it 10 innings out there. And I liked the idea of, I was like, guys, if we win this second game now, we gotta wipe our minds of that loss. Like, it sucked, but if we win this game, their bullpen doesn't exist. Ours does. Like, if Dallas goes out there and we shell them, they're in a tough spot in game 3.
Yeah.
You know, so like we gotta put that loss behind us and go out there and win a wiffle ball game. We didn't, but it's hard to say you have no regrets about it. But I mean,
well, that was a next obvious
really
question.
Not. You know, if Colm goes out there and deals, we're not having this conversation.
But maybe not that. Agreed. Maybe not that decision, but as a whole, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Is there any things you'd maybe do differently in the series?
I think the one moment where I really didn't stick to my guns is in the second inning. We were already down 2-0, but I kind of told myself, like, if Preston walks one guy here, I got to yank him. Like, maybe he found it in the first finally, and now he's good, but he walked the first guy that inning, and I told myself I was going to take him out. We talked about it, and I think he's like, I'm good. And that's fine. I don't want my guys to say pull me. You know, you don't want that pitcher. But me being the manager, I think I should have pulled him out right there, and then potentially would have eliminated that home run that was hitting the next at bat. So I was punching myself in the moment. Like, dude, you said you were going to take him out. You know, so that's probably the one thing I don't like that I did, because that was the one moment where I strayed away from my thoughts when emotions weren't mixed into it, and the craziness of the game going on was mixed into a decision.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I'm for sure beating myself up on a little bit.
Well, were there any other kind of notable things from the series that you'd like to mention that maybe weren't captured on film, or could maybe give some people like more insight as to what was going on? I'm not looking for a specific answer. I'm just putting that out there vaguely.
I mean, no, I think I've been pretty transparent about like what was said pregame, and it's got to be, you know, who do you blame when the ship sinks? You blame the captain. Right?
Yeah.
I just feel like, again, like I said in the post-game interview, I was so frustrated because I feel like the things that I preach in regards to like staying up and being positive and sticking to your approach, like when we get down into a bad situation, it feels like it just all goes out the window. It all goes out the window, and we struggle. And it just felt like, we were so deflated in game 2, even before they took the lead. After that first loss, which is a bummer, and it's something that it's got to be a management thing. You can't really point the finger at one other person for carrying that energy, I suppose. But it's tough. I mean, everyone handles emotions differently than I do. Like, I'm someone who's very like monotone, which I think can be good. It can be bad because sometimes I think I look more mad or frustrated than I actually am because I just don't really show emotions that much.
Yeah.
So,
I could probably relate to that.
Yeah. So I think that definitely needs to be improved. I mean, it's hard to win stressful games when you're up and down emotionally as a team or as an individual,
Yeah.
So I kind of said that, I think, in the post game, and it wasn't really targeted at one guy. It could even be targeted at myself, It's is what it is now. But I was candidly just very bummed.
Yeah.
Just very, very bummed. There was and honestly, I don't know if embarrass is the right word, but I mean, there's definitely a bit of like embarrassment there. I feel like we wanted that more than the Eagles did. Just because they had been there last year. I think they were expecting to win that game. They thought they were more talented. They probably are more talented. I feel like we really wanted that. And like the fact they put in Carson at the end of the game, it's just like, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, this was a series that I thought we could win, had the talent to win. Coming into this year, I think we were like number 1 or number 2 in the preseason power rankings. Like,
yeah,
the hopes were high. So to go out there in the DS and get swept in a very, very tight, close game 1, like, could have went either way. Robles had a walk-off home run that was, or a go-ahead home run that was robbed in the third, I think it was, or the third or the fourth. Like, we were right there winning that first game. To then having game 2 sort of end like we got demolished, it just didn't really reflect, I feel like, how our season went. So that was just sad. It's a bummer.
Well, that's a good segue into my next question. I was going to ask you to, as succinctly as possible.
Nose getting stuffed up. Must be getting emotional.
You need a tissue?
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Sorry.
As succinctly as possible, summarize the Mallards 2024 season.
Man. Frustrating, I think, is definitely a word that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Not just for me, but I think for a lot of people. Jorgensen, I know, had been frustrated all year. Robles pitching phenomenal, but didn't have the offense, unfortunately, to back it up. And even in this series, like, average-wise, it wasn't, like, astronomically bad. It was bad, but the Eagles were bad, too. And a lot of times these postseason series, there's not a lot of hits that happen.
Right.
I think we were, like, 8 for 40-something in the playoff series, those 2 games, which was, like, a 150, 160 average, which is bad. But, like, it's not like we hit 50 or we got no hits all day. Like, we put the ball in play quite a bit, and the power was just non-existent this year. So, to answer your question, to summarize the season, I'd say it was frustrating. It was definitely disappointing. Wasn't what I expected. Tell you that. I didn't expect to go out there and have the worst season of my career, pretty much. I'd say that's without question.
Yeah. Same.
So it's unexpected, I'd say. And yeah, I truly just, I mean, I'll even say it was a little embarrassing. It really was. I feel bad there's people out there that root for us and invest their energy into rooting for the Mallards, and that was what we gave you guys this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we made the playoffs, but that just wasn't where the bar was for me. It never really is. So to have the roster that we did and the experience that we had on that team to finish the season 8-9 was truly, it was embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say?
I think you're maybe being a little hard on yourself. I think that you're probably, everybody's expectations in the league is to, I guess they want to set their expectations to win the World Series, right? That's everybody's goal. Every team, every year. But at the end of the day, there can only be one champion. We talk about the parity in this league all the time, and that's what makes a great sports league. Like, there's a reason that the NFL is by far, I mean, you want to chalk it up to views or, revenue, TV revenue, broadcasting. Like, it is the most popular league, and it's the most popular league for a reason, and that's because of the parity. And you see some of these teams where you look at their roster and you're like, man, how is this team like a 500 team? Like, these guys are unbelievable. And it's a game of inches. And so is wiffle ball. I mean, like you said, Robles getting that homer robbed, right? That go-ahead homer. It's like that game probably looks a lot different if that goes over the fence.
I mean,
the
so
series
easily.
looks a lot different. You know what I mean? We could be sitting here talking about how you guys are 2 games away from going to Dallas, and you probably wouldn't feel very embarrassed, you know? So
no, I mean, it's true.
You know, Robles had probably one of the most historic pitching seasons
for sure
in MLW. Some awesome games. I think you guys, you know, if I was just summing it up from all the conversations we've had and the videos that I've watched of you guys, I think you just ultimately didn't get the offensive production and run support that you would have anticipated. You know, you made the move in the offseason to go get Jorgensen. He had his moments this year, but to me, like in a series like this, that's like you make that move and expect like a guy like that to have to step up. Like you're kind of counting on, you know, one of those guys to step up. Obviously, Combs had a big year stepping up at the plate, and you know, I know Jorgensen had that home run there late in the in game 2, but you felt like I was just waiting for him to hit one, right? And he didn't look very comfortable out there. Like he had a couple strikeouts that looked like he just, you know, wasn't. And I've had him too, Jorgie, trust me, you're not seeing it well. But I think calling it, like, I'm not just saying this to try to cheer you up. I think embarrassing is maybe not the right word. I think
maybe disappointing
might be better. You know, I was rooting for you guys too, obviously, but I think you guys do have a great team. And, you know, I wanted to ask obviously there's some time here in the off season to think about what you want to do, but it seems like you're chalking a lot of this up to management. And so my next question would be kind of like, all right, well, what's done is done. You know, where do we go? Where do the Mallards go from here? What are you looking to do kind of off season next year, if you've thought about it at all?
Yeah. I feel like you got to be careful what you say in this situation because people take things way too literally. And I don't want any of my teammates being like, whoa, what's going on? But I mean,
you're all cut.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So take this with a grain of salt. Mallards players, Mallards fans, MLW fans. But I definitely think, I mean, management, it's so tough. It's like, it's wiffle ball. Like, why does management matter? But it does matter. I think just like mentally improving is something we have to figure out how to do, how to not beat ourselves in these series, how to really just stay locked in and be positive and play our game like we can. So just trying to, maybe it's like more, this is going to sound silly, maybe it's like more team bonding. Like maybe it's getting on Xbox with the boys.
Yeah.
And like trying to rally the troops just to do something awesome together, you know? And so maybe it's something like that. Maybe it is you make a move and try to change up the chemistry like I did when I sent Bonham away. Because even though I felt like Bonham was so good, it like wasn't working with the unit we had. So maybe you need a vibe change. I don't know. I have no plans. Like I'm not like, you know, Preston Colm. You're on like who wants him? Like he's up for trade. That hasn't happened yet. But I'm not saying like this is the roster we're going with into next year for sure. Just because again, like when you fall short of your goals and you're not playing the way that you think you should be playing, if you're a NFL GM or if you're an owner, if you're a head coach, you'd be silly to not think, okay, like where do we need to improve and how do we get there?
Yeah.
Maybe it's developing the talent we have. Maybe it's going somewhere else to get other talent.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, any other comments? Any other anything else you want to address on this series before we, I guess, wrap up the Mallards?
We got some more to talk about still here. Poor PB's in for a long episode, I think. But I mean, yeah, it's just I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I was disappointed is a good word.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointed is definitely a good word. It was not the season I thought that I would have, the Mallards would have. Not a product that I was proud to put out for everybody to see and to root for and things like that. So it just stinks, man. I mean, I've talked about how like I don't like to just like go to the Meadows and try to like do my best. Like if I'm going to play, like I want it to be at the highest level possible. You know, so that's preparing before the series, being locked in at the series, you know, team bonding, all that kind of stuff. Like if we're going to do it, let's do it right. I just feel like this year we weren't able to accomplish what I think is like the best possible product that we could have put out there. So that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Trying to channel my sad, somber thoughts from that day. But yeah, like it truly was embarrassing that day for me. I don't know why that's the word that I have in my head.
Yeah.
But I remember, this is terrible to say, but because I was embarrassed in my last at bat. I'll put myself out first. I was embarrassed in my last at bat because Dallas gave me 2 slide drops, like right down the middle, that like, I know those were pitches that I'm hitting home runs on last year. And I just swung straight through them both. Yeah. I was like, come on, like how I was embarrassed for my own sake there to end that series. But I remember like this word embarrassment right now is haunting me because I think we had bases loaded or something along those lines. It might have been in game 2. You can actually see if you pay really close attention, but I think Jordy was up I think basically he swung at 3 balls to strike out, like nothing hit the strike zone. Mm-hmm. And I just like covered my face. I was like, oh, like my gosh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And that's not at Jordy, like at all, dude. I was terrible this year. So I think I can say that and be okay because I was the worst of everybody. But yeah, moments like that, I'm just like, oh, like I'm sick for our fans. I'm sick for our players, our fans. Like this is just not the season it just wasn't the way we drew it up.
Yeah.
It was not the way we drew it up. So I think that's enough rambling. But,
okay.
We have all off season to rant too.
Well, we do.
After this postseason
we'll have
concludes.
plenty of discussions and talks.
We will. So hopefully that wasn't too painful for anyone to get through, but painful for me. It sucks to think about it again. No, reading through the comments was hard this week, dude. I was just getting trashed. I knew I would, and it's fair. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that I haven't read the comments. I bet that was tough.
It was bad. I mean, it also is kind of funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah.
Like, I do feel bad for the fans, and I understand when people are mad. I'm a sports fan too. I complain about coaches I don't like and players I think suck. So
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I dish it. I can take it.
Good. The good thing is as the manager in MLW, you're basically the owner, so you can't really fire. I mean, you could fire yourself if you wanted to, but you're not really going to get fired.
Not on the hot seat?
You're not really on the hot seat.
What if the fans just demand, like, Tommy leaves or we're not watching?
New rule in MLW.
A fan vote.
The Instagram poll, if the Instagram poll is more than 50, the manager's out.
Honestly, that's a great idea. I like that. What if that was the thing in the NFL? Like, if your fans don't watch you, you're
screwed. I would be gone.
Oh, man. Maybe not 50-50. Maybe
they would just vote me out. I think like out of pure hatred for my average.
A 75-25 vote against you.
Yeah.
Pack your bags.
Yeah, that would make things really interesting.
It'd be so interesting. I'd be done. I'd be gone. I'd be looking for a job.
I'd be out on the streets.
I would. Be working at Dick's Sporting Goods.
All right. Well, want to talk World Series here?
Well, yeah.
Want to bring in the Commish?
Commish got to set up his video camera here. But yeah, Commish is in the house today. He's going to join us for a few moments here to talk about the World Series. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of this to not only hear fuzzy numbers, but also big-time updates on the Waffle House challenge, which is this Saturday.
Yep.
Live. And I need a lot of fan input on how we're going to balance this thing. So stick around to the end after this World Series conversation, as well as fuzzy numbers too. So, but yeah, the World Series, we're now down to 5 potential contenders, I will say.
Yep.
It'll be either the D-backs or the Eagles punching their ticket from the National League, and of course the AL. We will know more on Friday, Jack, whether or not the magic flag is still standing in the morning after the NL or the ALDS.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Time will tell. I hope for your sake it's better than my outcome, because
me too.
The comment section is not going to be nice to you.
I hope it is too. Yeah.
I think they'd be nicer to me if everyone's mad about the Preston thing, which I get, but everyone was. I've been so outspoken.
They wanted you to pitch Robles again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so outspoken on this podcast for 2 years now about the importance of throwing 2 arms in the playoffs. So, of course, when I do it, it doesn't work. But I've been beaten that way twice in a row. So,
yeah,
like, that's just how it goes, man. Yeah. It's just how it goes. But, Kyle, you ready?
Next year.
Yeah, I think I'm good over here.
He's on?
It's fine if it's front facing, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Your mic's on, so you're hot. It's hot.
All right, 1 sec.
Oh, he's just straightening her up. We can have PB crop it as well.
Yeah, true.
PB can crop you up. How we doing, Commish? It's been a while.
Back on the pod. I'm loving it.
Welcome.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. I got a stuffy nose out of nowhere here. But
Tom's got his somber talk out.
I know, tough one for you this week.
Real tough one.
We're on to talk more exciting things here.
Yeah, I'll try to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Exciting events that we just completed, being the York Fan Fest, the U17 Invitational, and then, of course, the big World Series coming up.
Yeah.
How was York, first of all?
It was awesome. Once again, as you know, we do the Friday Night Fan Fest, and then we play in the World Championship Wiffle Ball Tournament run by United Wiffle Ball. And then alongside that, we have our U17 division where we kind of handpick all-star teams, or I guess best performing teams from our tournaments leading up to the year. So that being the Midwest Slugfest, Texas Rumble, Wiffle in the Mitten, and we had 6 really good teams this year. It was probably our best U17 invitational yet. A lot of talent, a lot of good vibes, a lot of great highlights, some walk-off home runs. So just an all-around great weekend.
So MLW had a team there as well, though, right?
We did, yeah.
How'd we do?
We didn't perform very well. We lost every game by 1 run.
We didn't perform bad. Just heartbreakers.
Dang, come on. Who's on the team?
So the team was me, Norp, Dallas, RJ, and Sailor. So
Bro.
I know.
All-star.
Dude, it's tough.
God.
3 1-run losses.
Every year we've ran out some really talented teams, and we just haven't been able to put every piece of our game together.
Yeah.
This year, I want to commend RJ Walgate. Pitched really well. We were not able to get him run support in game 1. We lost that one 1-0. Then he pitched in game 2. These are against very good teams for all you listeners out there that don't know. Like, we're playing against guys in their upper 20s, 30s that like live for this fast pitch style.
Best in the world.
So that was to Las Vegas Whifflers. We lost 1-0. Second game was against the Ridley Park Long Balls from Philly. Bunch of great dudes, very MLW-like, just very community-based. They're all friends, mid-20s dudes. We lost that one 3-2. Oh, and then an elimination game, we lost a heartbreak. I don't even want to discuss how we lost this one, but it was 7-6. Like,
wow.
It was a thriller, but that's what knocked us out of the tournament.
So I'm just curious, how did RJ do with like the fast pitch?
He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves it. Absolutely, like, threw off all these vets that have been seeing all like different types of people in their career just with his stride and his release angle and the way he mixes up pitches. Like, he brought that same approach of MLW to the fast pitch scene. So he was throwing like just the change of speeds, quick pitching, just a variety of different pitches. Like, he played really well.
Right on.
That's sweet. Good. Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he did.
His first time?
He just had a blast being on like the MLW team because he's always been on like other tournament teams and stuff. So he enjoyed being on like team MLW All-Stars. Yeah.
How was was Mr. Walgate there to support or no?
It was RJ's mom there that took him, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay, it's always that tournament's insane. I mean, it is cool because again, it's the best in the world.
Yeah.
So you see how you stack up, and we lost 3 games by 1 run. It's pretty cool, just like how good our league has gotten. We've won. We made top 16 there one year, I think, just to see like how us playing in the neighborhood has evolved into like we're not the best out there in the world, but we're pretty darn good. Yeah, which is pretty cool to say.
What I love too is like, so obviously we had our 5 guys, but like Sawyer BN, Jackson Pearson, Jeremy Adams, Grant Miller, Jordan Robles, like all these guys in MLW are also playing with their other squads.
Gotcha.
Like Robles loves his Phenoms team, like a bunch of guys right by him that he's been playing wiffle ball with for like over a decade. Grant was on a really good team with Inc. this year. They were trying to go all the way. They made I think an Elite 8 appearance.
Okay.
And they got knocked out there, but the Juggernauts won again. Mm-hmm. Just an absolute insane group of 5 led by the McElrath brothers, Red Sarnowski, Ben Stantz. So I always love just catching up with all the fast pitch guys because I only see them like once or twice a year. Like sometimes we do the NWA tournament. Didn't do it this year, but just always cool checking in with everybody in the fast pitch scene.
Yeah, it's community. All right.
That's awesome.
The Jugs are like the Chiefs, Jack. You just can't beat them.
They're juggernauts. It sounds like a great name.
Jack, have you seen this team, like the highlights of this team?
No.
I mean, it's like Jordan's Bulls in the 90s. I'm not even kidding. They live for this event, and they go all out, and like they perform in the clutch. Like this dude, Ryan McElrath, like his arm's just fried every year, but he goes all out, getting to like the Final Four championship games, and like their clutch hitting is just crazy too.
Yeah.
Honestly, the fact that we go there and we don't win makes me feel better about the sport. Because if it was just like our league that played a bunch of wiffle ball and we went to these tournaments and like blew everyone out, it'd be like it would make it almost less credible. You know what I mean? Because you watch our stuff and you're like, well, this is awesome stuff happening, and these guys aren't even like the best of the best.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, there are
it's different setup.
There are a lot of styles of wiffle ball.
Right.
And I will say every single year, the team that wins the tournament gets to the Final Four, Elite 8. They play this style year round.
Yeah.
This is our one weekend of the year where we play this style.
That's true.
So I'm going in there swinging a big blue bat that I haven't swung all year, and I'm just like always late on stuff, and like just the pitches I see, it's so different than MLW. So we go in there knowing we're at a disadvantage.
Right.
But at the same time, we trust our hitting ability, our quick hands, our gamesmanship that we can surprise people and just advance in the tournament and go on runs. But at the same time, like it's so hard to replicate the in-game reps, like what you actually will see.
Yeah.
You can't just like take batting practice and expect to hit 300 in this tournament.
Yeah.
So it's always a lot of fun, and it's a huge challenge for us, which we really like.
Yeah. Let's pivot to World Series.
Let's do it.
How you feeling about it? A couple weeks out.
Dude, I'm excited. Like everything's been pretty flawless in terms of the setup and the crew over there at AT&T Stadium. So right now I'm just ordering a bunch of stuff to the stadium, working on the field layout, what everything's going to look like. I'm really excited about the aesthetic this year, having the AT&T Stadium sign in the background in the west end zone. That's where we're going to be facing. So it's definitely, I think it's a big combination of our SoFi World Series and Mercedes-Benz. Mm-hmm. So in terms of the orientation of the field, but also now having fans on the field, even closer than Atlanta last year. I really liked how Chicago, everybody was right up against the fence. Same with like Brooklyn. I think those make for the best MLW events. So I really wanted to make it as interactive and engaging as possible. We once again have the VIP meet and greet at the end of the World Series. So that's always a lot of fun. And yes, the tickets are live on MLWwiffleball.com or SItickets.com/MLW.
So how are you going to do the fans on the field? Are they going to be in like bleachers or chairs or?
So there's going to be a ton of chairs surrounding the wiffle ball field, but in center field, beyond the fence, that's going to be standing room viewing only. If you want to be a part of like the main camera shot,
nice,
be right up against the fence. But we'll have like 200 to 250 chairs on the third baseline and first baseline.
Okay, that's awesome.
It may be more if we exceed I guess ticket sales for that.
Mm-hmm. So odds there's a controversial home run.
Oh, that's very true.
I know
that tries to get robbed
by a fan.
Yeah, I mean that definitely is a possibility. I'm gonna get on the mic and being like, "Don't interfere with play." Like you don't want to be the one that we make a viral moment out of being a fan. That
we should
Steve Bartman of MLW.
Moment. Knowing this, we should be rooting for the Cobras to get to the series because Drew would launch himself into the crowd.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah,
that'd be a liability.
The content would be good though.
No, I'll get on the mic. I'll say like, "Don't get this close to the fence. Like, don't touch it."
Okay.
This is just in, folks. 3 injured at AT&T Stadium this afternoon after Drew Davis, popular online personality, went flying into the stands for a wiffle ball that he had no chance of catching. For the record,
that's the headline right there.
That's
nailed
the
it.
Headline.
You
That's
nailed
the
it.
But it's going to be cool. Will sun be a factor? Could sun be a factor after that Lions game?
So I learned about this.
Yeah.
Do you know there's curtains right there?
I did.
Jerry Jones,
I heard for concerts they
elects not to like close them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Interesting.
I think it was because he likes the aesthetics of the sun shining in and glowing on his players. I think that's why Jerry Jones wants to always have him on for game days. The sun open for game days.
I did hear that on
sun could be a factor.
On a podcast this morning. I heard that.
We have the option of closing
what time
also it won't really affect us.
I was going to say, what time will the series be?
It's noon. I mean, if it goes game 5 and extras of game 5, I mean, that's going to be like between 5 and 6 p.m. And the sun was glowing on the field at like 8 p.m. the other day. So I think we should be good there.
Okay.
Interesting.
It was kind of cool watching, though, the Lions-Cowboys game.
Oh, yeah, it was
It was sick. That's what I said on the I don't know if it was the last podcast. I think it was the last podcast about watching the Falcons Thursday night game.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is awesome. Yeah. This is so cool.
I was just looking for like specific shots and like different little things of the stadium I can maybe get like one little B-roll thing of. So it's cool to see.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I can't remember when we went to SoFi. I think that was just after the season started, NFL, right? Yeah. So it was like 2 weeks after.
It was like week 2.
But I remember watching the Thursday night opener that year. I think it was Rams versus Bills at SoFi, and I was like, oh my God, we're going to be here in 2 weeks. So
I was kind of nervous watching that.
Yeah.
But you'd be like doing year 3 of this, like it's the nerves are lighting a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
With these types of huge scale events.
That's exciting stuff. I'm definitely bummed I'm not going to be playing in it. But for whoever does, it'll be another special event, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see how the fan dynamic changes with people on the field. I'm excited to see that. It'll probably be loud in the cameras.
I know.
It'll be loud.
I think it will be. With them that close.
Because even Mercedes-Benz was loud.
With them on the I like the idea of putting them on the third and first base line.
Yes.
Because I feel like
that's probably where most of the parents will sit.
A ton of baseball games, but I love those seats. I think those are, I don't know if that's known to be. Is that like is that the seats everybody likes in
behind
baseball?
Home plate's like the best seat in
home
baseball.
plate, that makes sense.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the big jumbotrons the other, I think last week, of how like it was probably the first to do that. That's going to be on. It's going to have like our logos up there, motion graphics, and then I'll be on the mic too. The mic will be connected to the sound system on the scoreboard too, so it'll be very like loud right there.
That'll be loud.
And not a lot of echo. Like it's not like the full-on stadium sound system.
Oh, okay.
But it's like just the scoreboard.
That's pretty cool.
Trying to think of other interesting things, but yeah, it's a lot of the fence will be a little different this year, and I think it's gonna be really easy to set up and also look really cool. Just a small little note there.
Ooh, interesting. I'm excited to see that.
And the dimensions should be the same though. I want to keep the field width the same as like our SoFi World Series and Atlanta last year. But outside of that, should be pretty standard to our field size.
Who's your pick?
Can he say?
I can't pick.
I guess you're not in the playoffs. You could pick, but
Yeah, you're not.
Nah, I'm calling the games though, so I can't have people.
Fair.
yeah, but
fair.
the people know when you have stake
All
in
right,
the game.
well,
You're still
if you
unbiased.
weren't calling the
I
games,
know
what would you
exactly.
say?
No, I know who I'm picking. I'm not saying it, but I have a pick.
Okay.
Are
And
they still in?
And I'm a man of integrity. I'll say it at the end of the playoffs.
Okay,
that's fair. That's very
Oh,
fair.
wow, jinx.
Give me a soda. Or do I owe you a soda?
I don't know how that works.
I don't like soda, so I'll take a water. Maybe a sweet
I could use some water.
maybe a sweet peach tea.
Plug the
something.
cup there, Jack.
Oh yeah! Wow,
Ice
look at that. That is convenient for my ice shaker here.
Hey,
Look
cheers.
at that. Hey,
Cheers,
go
man.
Lions! Go Lions! How about that?
How about that? Big win.
You want
yesterday.
to watch a football team? Watch the
Product
Detroit
placement.
Lions.
This is what we'll do for your product on Pipe It Up.
Nobody
And-
better, folks.
Speaking of product placement, how about it's time for Fuzzy Numbers brought
Let's
to
do
you
it.
by our friends over at Shedball.
Shedball.
You can stick around if you want, Kyle.
I'll stick around.
Shedball, the official mini basketball sponsor of MLW Wiffle Ball.
Yep.
Shedball is a professional mini hoop basketball league with a 9-inch rim, 4-inch foam ball, and 8-foot rim height. They have players, GMs, and real dollar contracts. Shedball, it's funny because it's serious. The first 3 episodes of Season 1 are on YouTube now, and when new content arrives, you will hear about it right here on Pipe It Up. Jack, Tim actually texted me, Tim Whalen, creator of Fuzzy Frank,
Yes.
commissioner of Shedball, and he said that he has 40 games worth of footage right now on his computer, 300 gigabytes of footage waiting to be edited and uploaded. And you will hear about it
Unbelievable.
first here on Pipe It Up when that footage is live. So thank you again to Tim and Shedball for sponsoring.
Spectacular.
Frank kind of nailed it last week. He said Eagles sweep. He called big day from Dan.
Yep.
Dan got the home run.
Dan did. Yep.
Eagles
he did get a
swept
home
us.
run.
So Frank's on fire as of late. And let's see what he has to say about this week's matchup between the Magic and the Cobras.
Thanks, gentlemen. We are back, and our condolences here at Shedball to Tom and the Mallards as they fought valiantly in their series against the Eagles. Certainly one of the most epic games we've seen in a while in Game 1, but it just didn't fall your way. Now, the numbers may be fuzzy, but Fuzzy Frank was right on when he predicted the sweep. And this time up, we've got Jack and the Magic against Drew Davis and the Cobras. And Fuzzy Frank says that this time the Pipe It Up podcast crew is in for a win as he's got the Magic winning 2-0 in the series. Stat of the series, he believes that Walgate's going to pitch a shutout. And you guys can tailor fade that.
All right. Fuzzy Frank riding with Mr. Jack here. Gotta love that, Jack. I will start here.
Okay.
I'm going to tail the Magic winning. I'm going to say 2-1, not 2-0, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say RJ gets at least a shutout. So I think Frank might be spot on here.
Yeah, I hate to just be agreeable, but I also had the 2-1 Magic pick, so I'm gonna tail that, and I'm gonna tail the RJ shutout too because
If you win the series, he's probably gonna get a shutout. Let's be
exactly. I mean, we let's call a spade here. Our offense hasn't been spectacular this season, so for us to win 2 games in a series. A lot of times that takes RJ pitching a shutout, which he's very capable of. He's done it before, so I think that's actually pretty likely. I'm starting to see how Frank's thinking. You know, I'm starting to see how he's vibing.
Now that he picked you to win.
Yeah. I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing there. So I'm tailing all of Frank's picks this week.
I don't think Frank's apology to me was sincere. I'll be honest. I didn't feel it in Tim's voice. I'd have to hear it from Frank himself. But thank you again to Shedball for sponsoring, guys. Let us know if you're tailing or fading Fuzzy Frank this week. Let's get to Waffle House. It's been a long pod.
Yes.
So, guys, you may have saw on the Instagram story today, Monday, as we're recording this, that I did stop into what I believe will be the Waffle House that we will be at. Now, I have some things I want to discuss with the two of you, I suppose, as well as the fans. Number one, Calorie count still concerns. I confirmed it's 410 calories. It says right there on the menu.
Great.
I don't think that includes syrup.
That picture you posted is insane.
Of the waffle?
Those waffles are bigger than I expected.
Yeah, number 2, they're big.
Did you post a picture of the waffle?
I did.
Oh, boy.
So, size-wise, I knew what it was. About the diameter of my hand, Jack. But the density was thicker than I remembered.
How thick?
Like, I'd say like end
A
to
knuckle?
end. I'd say end to end an inch. Yeah, a full knuckle. Now, good news is tasted great. Tasted great. And I texted, this is my words to Jack. I said, just took down a waffle.
Are 10 of them going to taste great?
So, no. But I said, just took down a waffle. I think I could do 3 comfortably. 4 if I'm pushing myself and like overdoing it. This is like in one sitting. And 5 if I'm like giving it all I got. So that's my prediction based on how 1 went down. And I wasn't hungry when I ate this waffle.
Yeah.
We're going to need some help. I'll be there. I'm trying to get
We'll see.
Daniel there.
Well, yeah.
We need to start knocking off some hours.
I'll send out some Hail Mary texts. But I think we can get 10 each down, Jack. I really think we can.
I mean, now I'm thinking like strategy. Like, what would it almost? We'd have to run the numbies, but like it might honestly take us less time if we just ate like 2 and then took like a break and then 2 and then took a break and then we're gonna have to look at those calculations.
My strategy right now is to eat as many as I can and then wait.
But you might screw yourself then. We might be screwed.
You might be totally done for hours. You might be down for the count for hours.
But do you know what I'm saying though? Is we might actually be able to finish faster if we take breaks.
Space it out. Tails are going to just add up slowly, man.
I know.
Are you going butter and syrup on all of them?
I don't think I'm doing
first one at least.
I don't think I'm doing butter. I
got to do it on the first one.
I didn't do butter today. I can't imagine how many more calories you're going to get just in butter.
So many
the taste
calories.
would keep you going, but I think it would hit you.
Dude, it would hit you so hard. It would hit you so hard. Well, so this is important though. This is what I wanted to get to with the fans.
Okay.
So we do need to make a decision. Number 1, got to be careful what I say here, I guess, but not really. We have good intentions here. We don't intend to bring any harm to Waffle House or represent them in a bad way in any way, shape, or form.
No, in fact, we plan to give them a lot of money.
Business.
Yeah, a lot of business.
So I was gonna maybe mention this to the staff, like, hey, we're coming and we're doing this thing. The staff members that I was greeted by were quite old. And I think just the concept of this may have been like concerning to them or like just foreign and would have been like almost a little scary to them. Mm-hmm. So I opted to not say anything. So there's definitely so there's one thing to mention. Number 2 is I did an internet speed test. I think we'll be okay there for what I've researched in terms of what's necessary for streaming. So internet seems okay. Staff kind of rolling the dice a little bit. Setup wise, 1 table, like the biggest table they have, that's like in a corner and not in front of everybody, where it can be discreet and not getting additional people on video. That the table is big enough for you and I to sit. Now, concerns. Number 1, we could be in theory asked to leave. I'm assuming at some point by someone, whether it's for filming or just for being there for too long, I don't know, but that definitely could happen. I'm always thinking about what could go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a possibility. Number 2 is, and I actually didn't look for this today. I thought about it driving home and I did some research, is I don't believe that outside of the jukebox outlet, I don't believe Waffle Houses have power outlets in the stores unless you go ask for something to go behind the counter.
Wow. Okay.
So that's definitely
a problem.
a problem. So we could potentially look into like getting a power supply, but nothing to carry in. So I wanted to get the opinions from the fans, from you guys, as to what we should do. Because these are kind of the options that I'm weighing in my head. Is number 1, we look for an alternative power supply and just kind of go for it. Mm-hmm. And if we get kicked out, we pivot, which could get kind of stressful while we're on stream. Or number 2, we could, which might be lamer, so I want your opinions. I could go on like Thursday this week and get like 20 plus waffles, takeout, and then me and you have to hunker down in one room together and still do it without leaving the room. But that way we'd have probably a better
That's
quality.
a good backup plan.
Probably a better quality stream. Probably could do a little bit more vlogging and like be verbal without like worrying about people that are like over our shoulder and whatnot. So I'm definitely like considering it. I see the pros and cons because the aesthetic of being at the Waffle House is definitely part of it.
Yeah.
But I have concerns of us like getting in like 30 minutes and then like you guys can't be doing this in here. And then it's like, well, now we're kind of in a tough spot. So I want to hear fan comments about like what you guys think is, would you rather have a higher quality stream? Because it will be a better production if we have like steady internet,
we can engage more.
We can engage more. We have consistent power. Like it will go smoother.
You can bring it back here too.
Yeah, we could do it anywhere. But
I think so letting the fans weigh in is a good idea.
If the fans are like, that's stupid, it ruins the whole thing, then we're not going to do it. And we would just pivot. I'd probably say a backup plan would be to go to the next Waffle House over.
I was going to say, let's just go to another one.
Discreetly IG live it, like on a phone.
Yeah.
Or even YouTube live it on a phone.
Yeah, they'd be fun.
Yeah.
And no one would even notice.
Yeah.
You know? So would you rather have, and my question in summary is, do you guys want to...
Quick question. I mean, instead of maybe how hard is it to do the stream on, like, I don't know what you're doing to set up the stream, but could we do it on whatever laptop we needed to? Like if we, in theory, just brought like 3 different laptops and one died and we just went to the next one and one died.
It might even be better and more discreet. We're still thinking about this, but it might even be better and more discreet to just like do it on a phone.
Yeah.
But that way, you won't get like on-screen graphics and stuff like that. It'll just be me and Jack hunkered down. We can still read the chat and stuff.
Physical counters.
I thought about that too. I could have like a little number turnover and have it on screen. So that's also an option.
It's really all you need. So
really the fan question I want to bring here is, would you rather see a like higher quality and more polished product of us eating Waffle House waffles in my dining room perhaps? Or would you prefer more of a budget rinky-dink, go out and get it done
from
stream?
Waffle House to Waffle House.
We might be in the trenches, like going from location to location in Northwest Ohio, like trying to get this thing done.
Oh my gosh.
So that's my concern. I'm just being totally honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want to do is not bring this up, and then Saturday morning comes and you guys are like, what is going on?
Right.
So
that's fair.
We're bringing it up now, and we're going to try to think about the best strategy. High quality stream in a home. Well, we'll be disciplined. We'll stick in one room, only bathroom breaks. Like you got to sit at this table. Or do we just try to grind it out via whatever means necessary and do it in a store, even if that means production is not going to be as polished?
Right.
That's my 10-minute scheme summarized into 30 seconds.
I'd like to hear from the fans.
So
I think the odds of us, I guess it depends on how many people are in that Waffle House at the time that we're there, but I feel like the odds of us being kicked out are less than like 50% chance, just if we're buying waffles and we're being like respectful and just, we're kind of just having a conversation with each other, like on this, in the stream. I guess if they got weirded out because we were bringing a laptop in there, maybe I could see that, but I don't know. I think the odds are relatively low. I think it would be cooler for the aesthetic to be in the Waffle House, but certainly I personally would feel a lot more comfortable like actually engaging with the stream and everything if we were not in a Waffle House.
Yeah, like if it's in a Waffle House.
This isn't about us being comfortable though.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of the fan's choice.
Yeah.
But just know, if we're in a Waffle House, it'll probably be like me and Jack kind of like talking quietly like amongst each other and not like just like reading chat the whole time. Like it's going to be just us doing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're going to see.
That's true.
It's us doing it. But which might be what the people want. They might want to see us suffer, Jack.
Yeah, I really don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll throw up a poll and see the comments.
Comment quick though, because I got to make a decision. Yeah. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, go to YouTube right now and comment what you guys would prefer to see for the challenge. My only promise to you is no matter where we do it.
Should you put up a poll maybe for the audio listeners?
Yeah, maybe I can do a Spotify poll with PB. Yeah. It's a good idea, Jack. So we just need feedback. That's all we're going to ask for, and we will do what the people want us to do.
Cool.
And we will document it regardless, somehow, some way. It might be cleaner, it might not be. But what's your honest thoughts, Kyle?
I have 2 thoughts right now. First one, this reminds me a lot of the iCarly 50th Web Show Spectacular when they have to broadcast from detention.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They had to bring their thing on the road. Yeah. They had the hat cam. They had a bunch of things
we need that.
to avoid like that mean teacher.
That was a great episode.
I know, but this is exactly what that is like.
Yeah.
Second of all, are you guys going to fast yourselves before this and starve going in there?
No, exact opposite.
Opposite, I think.
I'm going to work out really hard Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and eat a ton all those days to get my stomach just moving.
Yeah, I'm going to try to eat as much as I can. Yeah.
Okay, and then
like a lot of carbs probably, honestly, before.
Yeah.
And then third, I'm just doing the math here. So if you think you can put down 5, say Jack matches that or maybe hits 6, that's 11. We're trying to hit, 24? Mm-hmm. I could probably get you 3 or 4. Same. Well, if I could drag Daniel there, then he could do the same. But we're looking at like 5 to 7 more guys we're going to need.
I plan to do that, Kyle, and then wait as long as I can and then do it again.
Oh,
Like, I want to get 10.
Yeah.
That's kind of my plan.
10 is our goal.
That's my goal.
so like you guys just like have an initial wave.
Yes. That's my
you
plan.
guys are passed out.
Yes.
It's just guest after
That's
guest.
my plan. Is to,
And then as you wake
my
up,
plan is to get in
you
there
finish it off.
and go, and then
But
break.
I guess that's
But
what
we're debating. We're debating.
That's what I was saying is you actually, we'll have to think about it, but you
a
actually
good
might
strategy.
get out of there quicker if you just
Pace
did
yourself.
it in like groups of 2.
Yeah, I like
you'd
that.
have to do it 5 times, but if you waited 45 minutes or
It's
like
like
an
heats.
hour in
Yeah.
between, like
I just-
you might
I
actually
just-
get out of there in the
I
same
just
amount of
think
time.
those last few heats would be brutal, Jack. Like
They would,
bad.
but like more brutal. Dude, the second heat is 5 waffles in
there-
your scenario. That's a brutal
this is,
heat.
This is another big thing for me and probably the guys too. Are there TVs in there?
Dude, this place has got nothing.
Nothing.
It's pretty
don't have
bare bones.
outlets,
They had
apparently.
yeah,
Dang,
they got a jukebox.
That's a big con on
They
a
got
college football Saturday.
One woman behind the counter. They had one guy chefing waffles. I did eat one today, by the way. Like I said.
Yeah.
Are you just like in the morning? That's when you're gonna set up shop.
So yeah,
We were gonna
last
try to
thing
get
I'll say
there,
before
yeah.
we
I
stop
was thinking
recording
if it was
here.
like late night scary hours, it might just get
This
you
is gonna
over
be-
the edge.
we do
This
gotta-
is-
we
this
gotta
is a
stop.
lengthy pod.
I'll put up a story with more details. Follow us on Instagram at Pipe It Up MLW. I don't want to lose this episode.
I wish
Left
Crash
Pips.
could be there.
Yeah, we're gonna rally. Stay tuned on Instagram the remainder of this week for updates with the plans, all that kind of stuff. We will keep you guys posted for sure. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Jack, thank you. Kyle, thank you. Landon, thank you. Fans, I'm sorry, but it's been a good one. Jack, I think you had a fun fact for us this week.
I did. Fun fact of the week: Jerry Jones' football team got dismantled on his birthday.
True.
And we'll see you all next week.
Pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up.